Today, I want to talk about a real weird subject, and I call this video "What the Universe Want." What does the universe want? As if the universe is like a conscious being and has a purpose in creating all these creatures, wants them to do something. Or another way of looking at it is saying that the universe is like a quantum computer and it's running simulations, and we are like characters in a movie, and the universe wants us to do some things, or another way of looking at it is like I had many spiritual experiences, and I didn't know I was psychic, or I'm psychic, but I was just always trying to figure out, what do you want? What do you want from me, God? What is your issue with me? You're always messing with me in this way or that way. I'm having all these experiences. What's the point of all of it? And this subject has been kind of reviewed, or many philosophers talk about these ideas, and many philosophers have also lost their neck over these ideas. I know a few examples, and before I get into this subject, I want to emphasize that I am not a religious leader. I'm not a guru. I'm not a mullah or a mufti or a clergy, or I don't intend to become one, and I am not starting a new religion, and I am more like a philosopher, a psychic, and I am also not claiming divinity, nothing of the sort, and I am also a regular Muslim. I'm Shia. I believe in divinity of Prophet Muhammad and Imam Ali, and also Jesus Christ. And I think studying them would be very valuable to anybody who wants to understand spirituality. And in fact, I am very uncomfortable with people adhering to me and using me as a reference. I never want any of that. And there is a huge history of people getting prosecuted or persecuted or losing their necks, or I don't intend to be another victim. These are just philosophical speculations. If some of these ideas offend you in any way, you're welcome to just click away, and that's it. You have no obligation to adhere to these things, and in fact, many people, they don't like psychics, and it offends their Christian philosophy or their Muslim upbringings. That's totally fine. We can just move on. Anyhow, when I graduated from high school, and I had a lot of interest in math and physics and sciences. I was interested in applied sciences like engineering. I went to East Coast, United States, and studied. I was getting almost my graduate degree in control system theory. They kicked me out, and then I came to Cal State Long Beach, and kind of finished up a graduate degree in fluid dynamics. I took a lot of math, sciences, physics, and I fully intended to study and work as an engineer. But towards the end of my graduate work in East Coast and even here, I noticed that many U.S. companies had outsourced their jobs. There were very many jobs in engineering, and there were jobs in the defense industry. And I'm Iranian, and I really didn't like these people, this industry, and the feeling was very mutual. They didn't like me either, so I got very few interviews for jobs in I think I got one that they just didn't want to hear from me again, and I called on many places. So what I'm trying to get at is that I had a strong interest in scientific way of looking at the world. I gone many ways, many years in that direction, and I studied quantum physics and a lot of math and just Newtonian physics and other aspects of physical world through this scientific method. And but when I was in East Coast, gradually the realization dawned on me that these disciplines, they will never bring an income, and they were more a burden than a source of income or inspiration too. And well, I was sitting in the library in University of New Hampshire, and I was thinking about stuff, and I wondered, I studied so much physics and math. Why don't I want to study other subjects, other phenomena, with an open mind? They may not bring any kind of material benefits to me, but neither did all these other disciplines. So why am I denying myself this opportunity? And my mother is a psychic, and she had many journals. She told me about it, but I always kind of looked down on her, and I never really wanted to pursue those matters. And then when I came to Southern California, I joined Sufi groups for meditation and for to study spirituality and psychic experiences. Actually, I had some experiences myself, which could be termed necromantic experiences of communion with ghosts. And I talked about in a comedy clip, homeless Russian alcoholic. Anyhow, when I started studying psych phenomena, and I studied a little Hinduism, a little Buddhism, I read the New Testament, I read the Quran, and these disciplines or these schools of thoughts or religions, they talk about ideas and subjects that are wide spectrum. They are not limited in a very focused discipline, and they talk about the stuff that you may yourself experience it, but you probably wonder to yourself, where the hell did this come from? I mean, like Hinduism talks about reincarnation. Well, I don't believe in reincarnation, but I do believe that when people die, they communicate, and they also sometimes adopt a living person because they see themselves in this person's shoes. I have had a lot of experiences of seeing my dad after he passed away. He's like a constant companion, and I also see ghosts of other people that have died, and or see them in the dream, or I just have a lot of experiences. I think that the dead, they recreate other worlds in their consciousness, and everything really happens in the consciousness. But aside from these ideas, I am interested in philosophical ideas or experiences that are extremely exotic. I mean, some of these ideas you barely hear it from Jesus or Prophet Muhammad. It's stuff that's way out there. It's not something that you would hear it from the clergy, or it's not something that the Guru Shah Masud talks about the stuff that is totally out of this world, experiences that you would never hear anywhere else. You should treat this video with a grain of salt. I mean, and please, if any of these ideas don't appeal to you, just click away. I mean, and I am not also claiming divinity of any kind. All right. Anyhow, I have known for a very long time I'm psychic and I have all these gifts, but I'm going to try to convey these ideas in a way that a Western audience can kind of relate to. And if we go back to the history of Greeks, they only had two schools of philosophy. One was philosophers that were trying to explain the world using reason, and then they had another group of philosophers. They called them sophistry practitioners, and these latter kind, which I am probably one of them, they have very ill reputations because they always try to explain the world in terms of gods and mythological events. But I believe that the ancient psychics, they try to explain the world in terms of what went on in their consciousness. And if we take modern views that consciousness is the real thing, and universe is made of consciousness, so if I tune into my own consciousness, it's like tuning in to what the universe is all about. Okay, these ideas that are comprehensible right now were not so simple in the ancient times. Okay, when I was taking a meditation class, the Guru Shah Masud, well, actually it was his son, Nader Shah Masud, he said that close your eyes and realize that there is nothing outside of your skin. Whatever goes on, whatever that matters, is within your own consciousness. Okay, this is a very central idea in Sufism, and I think many religions also brush against this and made some statements about it. For example, the Hindus, when they grow older, they go like in a forest or a monastery or whatever, and they try to divest themselves of the outside world and just sink in within their own being and try to discover this inner self. So basically this inner self in many religions is considered God, is considered the real thing, and whatever transpires in this consciousness, it does have validity too. It's not totally scientific and hacked in stone, and it could be like described in mathematical terms, but it also doesn't mean that it's totally false, like many suspicious people think. So what happens in your consciousness? It does have validity. It does have a relationship with God, with the universe. So there is another practice that I think the American Indians practicing this is a form of psychometry. Try to become in union with different animals, different consciousnesses. Okay, and if you extend this idea, it can be called prayer or communion. And you can make communion with dead people, you can make communion with animals, you can make communion with the universe, with God. Okay, so God is also consciousness, and if as a psyche I'm able to make a communion with Jesus or with Imam Ali, okay, so it's quite conceivable. It's actually possible, and I've done it, to make a communion with God. Okay, so when one goes down this path, then one could ask this philosophical question: well, what is the purpose of all this? Like, what is the whole idea of making this whole universe? And many physicists also ponder this question of why is there a universe? What's the purpose? What's the whole idea? And I don't have questions that answers for the physicists because my extent of my knowledge for quantum mechanics is not to the level of research to kind of figure out what went on and what will be going on. My best estimation is that we are living inside a black hole, and the universe is really a black hole, and the singularity that was there was the collapse of a black hole, and then it exploded inside this event horizon. Anyhow, this is just a conjecture. Okay, many physicists would say that no, that's not true, but that's the very best conjecture. But I want to just explain some of the ideas and experiences that I've had, which make me believe that the universe is conscious, and then there is a reason for this creation, this universe. It wasn't just for nothing. Well, in Quran there is a verse that goes like this. I'll read you the original text. It says, "Kuntu kanzan makhfiya." I was a hidden treasure, and I wish to be known. I don't even know the Arabic part for the other part. I wish to be known, but it goes like this: I was a hidden treasure, and I wish to be known. In my opinion, okay, the purpose for creation of universe is that there is this super consciousness. It is like God is, and or is he an abstract mathematician? I don't know. That it wants to experience itself. Okay, so in the Sufi school, they say that humans and animals, they're tofeil hasti. Tofeil means like a kid or an offspring or a creation. Of hasti means creation. Okay, which means like when you go to a cinema, the characters on the screen, they are like a creation of this beam of light that what went on in the projector. Okay, it projects itself onto the screen or onto a material world and makes somebody like Hassan. Okay, but this creature is not an independent is not genuine person, is not all doesn't stand on his two legs. He's just a projection in the material world of yet another creature, another entity that sits behind him, like his soul. And what the universe wants to experience itself, experience his or its, or you cannot use the word his or her. It just is an entity. Every level of consciousness that he has, he wants to experience himself as a worm, as a sheep, as a tiger, as an elephant, as a monkey, as a human. Okay, and the greater the consciousness, moral consciousness, and the greater perfection that a person achieves in terms of spiritual development, it makes this entity, it makes him or it, whatever it is, it makes it happy, because this person, say Hassan, developed spiritually, became a fantastic guy. Okay, then the universe would look down at him and would say, well, there is another verse in Quran that if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't create the cosmos. Well, he was saying it about Prophet Muhammad or prophets. I'm not trying to like transport it to myself, but I'm just trying to get at an idea. Okay, is like this universal entity will look at this person that like Hassan, that he developed and became a greater person and had greater love, and would be happy. It is the form of contentment. In fact, if you look at some of the sayings of Jesus, you'll see that the relationship that he has with this higher being is like a son and father. And in the writings of what they call these, the Arabs call it wasaya, which means the recommendations or sayings of Prophet Muhammad that were not part of Quran. It was just his saying. So every time you open this book, he starts every sentence with Ya ibn al-Adam, O son of man, as if like there is a ghost, there is a father, an entity that's out there. He's addressing this lower person, this reflection in the material world. I mean, the analogy is freakish. I mean, this doesn't end here. There is examples of this in other in Greek mythology, in Sufi sayings. Okay, so what happens is that this is what the universe wants. The universe wants that this creation to see how he or she will do things that are outrageous. They're like totally spiritual. They're like this person is just full of love, or he exhibits psychic phenomena, or he like becomes this tremendous physicist or ballerina, which means like this act, when this person perfects aspect of God to perfection, it makes God happy. It's like he thinks about her or him, and she becomes like a favorite pet, or I mean, these ideas are kind of strange, right? But this is true. There is a lot of experiences I've had, and also if you look at the scriptures, and you'll see that there is a lot of discussion about this. One of the things that you see in Christianity and in Shia is the life of Imam Hussein or the life of Jesus or other mystics, that they sacrificed themselves for a cause, or they had higher aspirations. And the strange thing is that the rest of humanity always looking at these people. Like we are always remember Che Guevara, we always remember Imam Hussein, always remember Jesus. So this is some type of significant event, significant thing, what the universe wants. And the other thing that the universe wants is to establish its own communion with individuals. Okay, instead of you reading the scripture and making some ideas or what, it's not like that. We are more like dumb terminals that are connected to a central computer. Well, the Christians, they call it revelation, but this act of communion is important in some ways. It's like you discover that, hey, there is this link with this creature. I never thought this would be, but this is of significance. The universe wants to communicate individually with this creature. Okay, so I've had the experience, and I better not go through this. This is I'm gonna get flamed. But if I have had a communion and discovered, hey, this is possible, there is revelation can happen to me too, well, then that is pretty nifty event. Well, let's just go get out of this thorny philosophical quagmire, because I don't want to lose my neck or get crucified. The other thing, and this is a minor event, is that there is a multiplicity of worlds. We are not the only world that exists. There is billions of planets. And so this universe is constantly simulating or projecting into the material world all kinds of creatures. I don't know if what happened to me could not also happen to another creature. Okay, so it is very presumptuous to think that, hey, these things can only happen to Prophet Muhammad, or can happen to Jesus, or to David. There is no exclusivity. There is no I'm probably gonna get my ass kicked by some Catholics, but there is no particular reference point. Okay, let's just put it in a very nice nutshell. And also, there is a huge range of spiritual experiences. I want to go over one other concept that's very important. Okay, each person, okay, maybe or maybe not, will become aware that he or she has a higher soul, and this higher soul reflected or presented himself to Prophet Muhammad as the angel, and to Jesus as God, Father. But other people can also experience this, and well, let's not go over my experiences, because I need to keep things simple. But this higher self, it looks a more refined version of yourself. It's like the best way that you could look, and all your psych phenomena or your psi, whatever happens, is really in this creature. It's not in your physical body. It cannot do anything. It's like a puppet. And when you perceive this higher self, because he or she is not destructible, you feel a great sense of serenity and love, because this is just the very beginning of these ideas, discoveries, but you know that this is you, but this is not really this physical being, is the real you. It's like the projector, it sends out a massive beam of light and it hits the screen. Imagine the character in the screen suddenly figures out, hey, I'm not real, I'm not genuine, but the real me is this beam of light that's coming from the projector. And instead of looking at other characters and doing stuff with them, then focuses back in here to discover what is this beam all about. Anyhow, I will go over some of these other phenomena, psi phenomena, and okay, I don't know if I would put up this video because it could be very troublesome, but once our internet is back on, I will put something up. But remember, I'm not a clergy, I'm not claiming divinity of any kind, and it's just observations, okay? And you are welcome to leave comments, alright? You have a great day.